talking about the transfer student experience. I am interviewing Kate Bell Miller, who holds the title of Transfer Student Specialist within the University Advising Center, or UAC for short. I also have two of our orientation leaders who were transfers themselves, Isaiah and Syra. They are all here to share information that will help you as you prepare for life on the hilltop. Okay, so first I actually want to toss it to Kate. And Kate, can you share a little bit about what you do as a transfer student specialist?
Yeah, so I am an academic advisor. I was actually Isaiah's advisor when he started here. So I help with the admission team doing admitted student sessions. And then the bulk of my job is just advising transfers. So I have about 75 to 80, depending on the semester, and I help them with their onboarding, making sure they're understanding their credits, how they're transferring in, maximizing those credits if we need to do petitions to apply it to their degree, sometimes mapping out a 2-year pathway, or referring them to other departments to get better information.
Awesome. All right, well, Isaiah and Syra, can you share a little bit about yourself, hometown, major, as well as a little bit about your experience as a transfer?
Yeah, so I'm Isaiah DeLeon. I'm a rising junior. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm double majoring in computer science, economics, and finance, and minoring in psychology with the pre-law track. And my experience at SMU has been amazing. I love every moment of it. You know, I'm getting to experience being an orientation leader, which is such a privilege. It's an honor, honestly, you know, just because I am a transfer student, so I didn't think I was going to get the opportunity to do it. And honestly, I had an amazing advisor, Miss Kay, you know, she really got me going, putting me in the right path, you know. So I'm really grateful for that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Syra Castillo. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I am double majoring in journalism and English with a minor in art history, and I am a rising sophomore. I was originally out of state at another university, just realized it wasn't the right fit for me, too far from home, really bad homesickness, so I made the really tough decision to come back home, and choosing SMU was just the easiest option for me because it's the best university I could have picked. I was a spring admit, so I came in the middle of the year. Everyone had already made their friends, so I just had to put myself out there, and it ended up working out really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, y'all, for sharing. And while we're kind of on the topic of advice, is there any advice you have for transfer students or things you wish you knew during your first semester at SMU that could help students get the most out of their hilltop experience or even orientation? So curious your thoughts there.
I can go first if you want. Honestly, the first thing I would do, honestly, for me, in my opinion, is you're going to be in these new classes, new environment especially. I would say try making friends because study groups are really essential, I think, in these college classes because they are a little bit more difficult, you know, and a little bit more advanced from what I was used to. And so taking them is and with friends, getting to know people. And we have to remember, you know, we are transfer students. So these people that got to be here for first years, they got to build these relationships from the very beginning and you're just being placed into it. But honestly, I don't think that was an issue for me. I was able to, you know, I'm a very social person, so that could just be me. But honestly, they welcome you with open arms, and they really don't judge you for anything, and they're very helpful, especially the professors too. I would say having a good connection with your professors is essential, you know, because they're really nice. And since we are a smaller campus, you are able to build that groundwork with your professor, that foundation. So in case anything happens. I know for me, it was a lot of things were happening in the spring, you know, very personal things. And being able to build those relationships with my professors allowed them to give me a little leeway or a little understanding of where I was coming from. So, yeah.
For me, what I would give to transfer students is to not be ashamed by the word transfer. And I know that it's you're coming in mid-year or starting off at the beginning of the year, and everyone's already made their friends, as I said earlier, and if they've made connections with their professors and they've built relationships with other students and employees here, there's really no shame in saying you're a transfer student. Everyone has a different story and a different way of how they started off college. So I would just say don't be afraid to say who you are, where you're coming from, why you left, for whatever reasons if you're comfortable, and then also to just put yourself out there. Just don't say no to anything. Don't come with reservations in mind. Go to all of the free stuff, get all the free food, all the free merch. It's really fun. But the only thing is just to have an open mind, and everything's going to turn out fine.
Yeah, and I give major kudos to y'all because y'all are both spring admits. So you
Yeah.
really just jumped in and made the experience your own. So I
Yeah.
have to
Thank
give
you.
y'all props. But
Thank
I'm
you, thank
curious,
you.
Kate, if there's anything that you would kind of echo to what they're saying or things that you've heard from other students that you've worked with that maybe would echo or resonate with what they said.
Yeah, I think it's a really different experience coming from a 4-year like y'all did and coming from a 2-year. At a lot of our 2-year schools, the class sizes are much smaller than ours. And so that's a big adjustment as well as like just a new system. And like Isaiah, you mentioned that there's just a lot more work. And I say this a lot when I talk with students, like the workload is just heavier compared to many institutions. Professors have higher expectations, but they're also really available. They want to help. And that's what I think is so great about SMU. Like, by and large, most of the professors you interact with really want to help you and they want to see you succeed. But you need to take advantage of office hours. You need to take advantage of tutoring. No one's going to force you to do those things. And so, being that one to put yourself out there and take advantage of the opportunities that are available to you is the game changer, like to acclimate really well. And then like you two did, just getting involved in student organizations and, you know, meeting friends through classes and organizations, that will make your experience the best.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Thanks for sharing that. And I kind of want to get a little more granular because I think y'all are sharing such good tips on go see your professors during office hours, go up and just say, hi, you know, I'm a transfer student. There's no shame in that. But was there maybe an instance that y'all have in your experience where you're like, this is kind of what changed the game for me in my experience at SMU when trying to get involved or speaking with a professor. Was there anything, or maybe something that you've seen or heard of from other students that are transfers that might be kind of a fun story to share or some extra good insight?
For me, I remember it vividly as if it was yesterday. So I was taking my intro to journalism ethics with Professor Peterson, and I remember I went up to him after class and I was like, I really want to be the next David Muir. I want to take his job. And he looked at me. He's like, yeah, you're totally gonna get it. We have a lot of connections here. And I remember I left class and I was bawling on the phone with my mom. I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, he has so much love and expectations for me. He's just met me. And so I think that really symbolizes what SMU is. It's a great place for people to be here, for students.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was one of my cognitive psychology classes. You know, she was an amazing professor. She really helped me understand that it's okay. Like, there's no shame in being like a transfer student. Because I'm not gonna lie, there was a little like I feel like it felt weird, you know, being a transfer student. You know, just because like Sarah said that, you know, there is that little like what's it called, like stereotype, I guess, you know, being a transfer student. And she really made me feel better about it, you know. Obviously I didn't like think too much about it, but then like, you know, sometimes you do feel intimidated, but you shouldn't, you know, because like everyone here's welcome, like I like really welcome. So, and she really just helped me and guided me, you know, and I really confided in her, and that's how we started building our relationship. And you know, now with my minor in psychology, she's been helpful. You know, I was like, what classes do you think I should take? Because you know, you get to choose from a little bit of different variety. So yeah, I mean, that's what really got it going for me, at least. You know, yeah, building those relationships with those professors. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. And Kate, is there anything you would add as far as working with, you know, on the faculty side and making sure transfer students have their classes all in line? Any other just maybe moments in your career thus far where you've seen something kind of change the game for a transfer student when you're helping them, or any just additional tips or tricks that may be impactful for a new transfer student?
I think I just go back to those connections. It sounds like y'all both found some mentors here on campus, and like not everyone is going to be a mentor to everyone. And so it might take a couple attempts. And I think that's the hard part when like you might reach out to someone and they might not be as receptive, but you go to the next person and they are. And then you build on that connection. You go to those office hours. Professors are humans too. They have good days, they have bad days. And so like they want to connect just as much as the rest of us do. And I think that there's like that professor stereotype, like they're these unapproachable people, but going up to them and like embracing their personhood, getting interested in what they're interested in. They've spent a lot of time researching their subject. And so that's a great gateway conversation to like just ask them about how they decided to study what they're studying. If that's the area that you want to study too, that's a mutual interest. And so you can start the conversation that way. And then don't forget about the staff too. There's lots of great staff in student affairs that love to be mentors. And that's usually why they got into their job, because they love working with students. And like people like me, academic advisors, I'm not in student affairs. I'm in the academic side under the provost's office, but I am here because I love students. I love working with students. It gets a little lonely in my office come September. So I have some students that just stop by and just building those connections, because I've been here since 2011 and I know a lot of people and I've seen a lot of different things about the university, and I just want to help people build connections because it's a really great place here.
Yeah, and I would echo that too, being a staff member myself. Just we do love students and want to see all students succeed and thrive. And so I feel like any staff member, any faculty member is willing to help a student out, especially if you're kind of struggling with that sense of belonging and you're like, I'm new and everyone seems to have established connections already. Don't be afraid to pop into anyone's office and we can try and get you the right resources or connections to make sure that you feel like you have a home here at SMU. So before we wrap up, I just want to ask one last question, and that's kind of what is that one tip or that one last piece of advice that you would share with a transfer student? You know, if they didn't take away anything from this episode, what was one thing that they need to take away from this last piece, or anything you want to reiterate?
I would say just don't isolate yourself, just because it may feel like you're the only transfer student in the whole world, but there are a lot of transfer students and a lot of students that go through the same experiences as you. So just don't isolate yourself. Go to the events that the university holds. Just say hi to anyone that you're passing by. Introduce yourself to your professors. Let them know that you're a transfer student. And at the end of the day, everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've said, and I think I repeated a couple of times, just putting yourself out there. I mean, that's like the one thing I can only say. You know, you can probably think of the worst thing possible, but honestly, it's not going to be as bad. You know, at least you can say you tried, and if it didn't work out, then it didn't work out. And yeah, I think putting yourself out there is like a key thing. I know that SMU offers like, what is it, like when you get admitted, there's like a transfer, like little get together so you can get to meet other transfers. I think that's an amazing opportunity too. So you get to, so you know that you're not in this, like you're not alone in the boat, you know, you have other people there. So that definitely does help too. So
Yeah.
Can't live your life in fear. So you
Yeah.
have to keep on going.
Yeah. And that's called transfer table, by the way.
Yeah, transfer
so
table.
yes, transfers. We want to see you there.
Yeah.
You'll get emails, I'm sure, about it.
Yeah.
But Kate, anything else that you would want to add?
We have a great transfer organization, Mustang Transfers. I'm not sure if either of you got involved in that one. But if you don't have an organization, that's a good place to start. I think the students that kind of find their people are the ones that do well. I know it's harder for students who are commuting, and a lot of our transfers this fall are going to be commuters as well. And so if for those of you out there who are commuting, just make sure you take that extra time to invest. I know it's easier to just jump in your car and get back to home so you can work on studying, but come back for our evening events, hook up with friends and go to the basketball games and the football games and go to boulevards this fall. Like, I'm sure y'all are invited because you didn't get that.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
So just come back to campus and be involved in those events.
Yeah. And I will say in another episode that's recorded with the other orientation leaders, Juan and Kennedy, we had to define boulevarding because not everyone knows what a boulevard is. So we'll define it as well. Or you can go check out that podcast. But we can define it here too. So who would like to define boulevard?
I still don't really know what it is. I'm just excited for it.
You just heard all the hype.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You
from
guys
what
have never
I
experienced
know,
it,
yeah.
right?
So I've never experienced it, but I definitely have came with my friends because I used to come back and forth from my other previous institution to SMU because I've always felt like I was geared towards SMU. I feel like, you know, it's always been a home to me. So from what I know, from what I like obviously remember because it was a year ago, there was tents and you get to meet different people. It gets like fully packed. They have like tailgates for the games, and it's a great opportunity to make friends there too. An amazing opportunity actually, because everyone's just being social. You meet like different people. It's an I just kind of rate it how amazing it is. Like I hate that I didn't get to experience it, but now I'm gonna experience. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, so we have a main strip. It's called the Boulevard. It goes through the center of campus from like the south entrance up to Dallas Hall, and tents just line the boulevard up and down, and we all just eat and are very, very hot in the Texas weather. But it's a really great time just to pop around to different tents. A lot of student organizations have their own tent. And so you can meet friends or just learn about the different opportunities to get involved and meet a bunch of different people. It's a great networking place too.
Extremely good networking.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much for defining what the Boulevard is. And I forgot that y'all haven't seen it yet, but you will soon. So that being said, thank you all for being here today. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation. And that concludes today's episode of Red, Blue, and You. But I do want to say that if you have any lingering questions, feel free to reach out to orientation@smu.edu, and we can get you connected to the right resources. And especially if you need to talk to Kate regarding transfer services, we can get you connected to her. However, that concludes today's episode. We're really excited to welcome you in a few short weeks to the Hilltop, and we'll see you then, Mustangs.